Oh, My Hero Academia episode 12.
You want to give me some more points? Because it looks like 13's going to be the end of this arc.
That was a episode. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect Night Eye to die.
I don't know that he's completely dead yet. Grievously injured, yes, but I don't think he's completely dead yet. We just saw him getting torn into. We did not see, like, the light leave his eyes. We didn't see the JoJo ghost come out and give him a thumbs up and say, "You got this," right? We didn't get that. He's still alive as far as I'm concerned at this point.
Okay.
Also, his character arc is incomplete, so I'm going to go and use that to say he's not dead yet. Because, he's still kind of being an ass thinking Mirio is better than Deku at this point. Well, or at least that his opinion is still not changed.
So that's how Overhaul survives. He explodes himself and merges with one of his lackeys.
I mean, like, yeah, it's not even the survival, right? He could literally do that to himself at any point without needing to merge himself. He could rip himself apart and heal himself right away if he wanted to. Although he's made himself far more deadly about it by merging himself with another and apparently being able to use his quirk. I'm guessing at this. I think he is, because that's the truth, dude.
Yes.
And when he's talking to Eri after she's run back, it seems like he's pulling the truth out of her. Or at least the truth as she views it.
Yeah.
Also, that's a way better design with him with 4 arms than it is as, like, his regular form. Like, now I gotta wonder, right? Like, can he do that with more than one person? Like,
maybe.
Can he meld his body with more people?
But he doesn't like it since he's very...
No, he does not. Which might very well be the reason why he doesn't do this, ever. Unless he's put in this kind of a situation.
But I would say, maybe if he wasn't so OCD about being clean, maybe he would make some kind of Legion-esque monster of, like, 10 corpses all together, like some rambling nightmare.
Well, I mean, couldn't he still do that with someone else, though, rather than himself? Although, granted, I guess at that point you'd have to be careful not to make them too strong, or they'll fight back against him and cause issues.
True.
But I mean, what you just described, the fact that he doesn't like other people touching him, therefore he does not use his ability in this way, is a perfect example of how you counterbalance an overpowered ability. Because I'm fucking watching JoJo Part 4, fuck it, Okuyasu from Part 4 in JoJo's, right? Man's stupid. He's not bright. He's very straightforward about everything. He has a fucking ability that lets him literally make things disappear in front of him. And then those things that disappear, everything around it reunites to make it like nothing would happen. Like that stuff never existed.
And he has a stake for hair.
Yes, he has a stake for hair. He has a black stake for hair. Or maybe it's a hat. Maybe it's just sitting on his head. He'll take a swipe at the air and literally it siphons out the air in front of him and causes like the air on either side of that section that was made to disappear to immediately clap together and reunite, bringing objects closer to him. Like a vacuum being sucked in. Using that kind of ability can be broken as shit. Right? Literally. Oh my god. No bullets would work. No projectiles could work. If you touch anything with that hand, it's going to straight up disappear. Like, there's a point when Okuyasu and Josuke are chasing down, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And literally in that moment, Okuyasu could use the ability to drag the opponent back to him, and doesn't. Because he's not smart enough to think of it in combat.
Oh my god, I'm just thinking of Orion's description of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, when we were telling him to guess the ability, it makes awful music.
Oh, man.
If you're a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I just posted that video about a week ago, and you should maybe watch it. I don't know.
Stand battles are best battles. I'm sorry, but yes, this is exactly. You make a character have a problem, like mentally or physically. That means they can't use their overpowered ability in a way that would make it completely and utterly overpowered, like stupidly overpowered.
Except if you're Dio.
Well, I mean, Dio's arrogance kind of gets to him there. That's still kind of a handicap. Now, granted, it's not a handicap for the stand. That's a handicap for himself.
Okay, okay. But enough about JoJo.
Yeah, right. We're not talking about JoJo here.
Back to My Hero Academia.
Yes. So what do we have here? We have a quick turn back of the clock as if we get a flashback, of talking to Rocklock, whatever. He gives his little speech about, move forward, I'll hold on to this guy, yada yada yada. Cool, go on. So Night Eye, Eraserhead, and Deku are all running ahead. Deku busts through the wall right when Mirio's about to get, what is it? He was about to get pierced, or something or other like that, right? He busts in along with Night Eye and Eraserhead. We see what Chrono can do now.
Yes. He has time hair.
Yes, he has time hair. He's not quite Dio. He can't stop time, but he can slow you down.
I just wonder what happens if he hits you with a long hand.
I'm assuming he can either slow down or speed up. That would be my guess.
Because he said, I only hit you with a short hand, so it only lasts an hour.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe that's the length of time it lasts. It could last longer if it's the long hand.
Or maybe, since the long hand is the minute hand, it actually affects a shorter time, maybe.
It could be. It could be that it associates itself with the time, like the way the minute hand and the hour hand work.
But
which makes me wonder, can he just keep stabbing them and stack it?
I don't know. And then again, I didn't see how many locks of hair he had in the shape of arrows.
There were at least 2, and I think those are like the bangs on his head, like coming off on the side of his head. I don't know. There might be more, but I only counted 2 in the brief shot I got of his face.
Same.
So yeah, I'd be curious if he can stack it or if it's just a refresh. Like, cool, you take down 30 seconds. Let me hit you again. Awesome. Now you're back up to a minute. Like that would be my curiosity with that. Also, he can extend his hair really far, apparently.
He's Bobobo?
I guess? I mean, it's not nose hair, though. As stupid as it is, Bobobo would fit into this world perfectly. He could just be a background character with a quirk nose hair. Done. Bobobo reference. He's just here.
Yes.
He's as zany as ever, even though, like, the outright ridiculous bullshit doesn't work. Like, fusion and shit in that world does not work here.
And it seems that Toga and Twice are not quite on the evil side anymore?
They've split off. They're doing their own thing, and it seems like their plan at this point is to just see who wins by the end, or make it worse potentially. I'm sure that in the next episode they're going to have a part to play, depending on what it all depends on what it is. I have a feeling they'll be helping out the heroes, even if it is like indirectly, and that's only because they hate the Yakuza way more.
And the more and more I see Toga, I'm like, oh my god, she is yandere to the extreme.
I mean, I feel like that was pretty clear when, like, she attacked them in the forest in season 2.
Yeah, she's creepy.
But she's creepy in that adorable way.
If she was only some other kind of dairy.
Nope. She needs to have that, like, really adorable side, but also I'm gonna fucking stab you if you talk to my love interest side. Like, we need that bipolar type of personality. It's great. It causes so much, like, hilarity in this. But yeah, we get some interesting shit of Deku coming in, trying to fight with Mr. Four-Armed Chisaki now. And that's not going well. We also get a nice little surprise of, like, Deku jumping to 20% of all One for All.
Yeah.
Even though he knows he can't do it for long, he's accessed it now. Which, he was at, I think, like 13% last time by the end of season 3, I want to say. So he's jumped 7 more percent to 20.
I'm not 100% sure how much it was.
He started with 10% in season 3 when he started using full culling for the first time, I think.
I do remember that.
It might have been 5, it went to 10, I think, with Stain, or something along those lines. And I know with the fight with Bakugo, I think it went to 13, I want to say. And he didn't even realize he was doing it until, like, after the fight.
And maybe he'll push himself further for maybe like a second with the title of the next episode.
I feel like he is, right? Like, he has to. The title of 100% Infinite kind of makes me wonder. You can't not give that title and now not expect him to unlock something for like a fraction of a second. My question is going to be, what are the repercussions from that? Because anytime he's tried to use really high amounts of this one for all, he's broken bones. He's shattered his own limbs. What is going to be the kickback?
I don't know, but that's why I'm guessing he'll only do it for like a fraction of a second at 100%.
I still, even at a fraction of a second, it's still going to have a big backlash. Because, I mean, when do you do it, right? You would have to be right before you impact, kind of like the way Goku was performing Super Saiyan Blue at one point. I forget if that was in Tournament of Power, anime, or manga, or both. But where he was going red, and then, within a fraction of a second, right before impact, he jumped to blue and then back to red. Even then, the impact's still going to shatter bones if he does that at the fraction before he hits. There has to be a backlash. There's nothing that's, there's no way he couldn't.
I'm not denying it, but I don't know what the backlash will be.
I'm also trying to figure out how he would use it, and the only way I can think of is just prior to impact, he jumps to 100%. It's either that, or he's like... Honestly, the other way he could use it is he could drop himself back down to the 13, and every time Chisaki goes to attack him or go to hit him, he jumps back to 20 to, dodge or to hit, right?
Okay.
Same way Goku was more or less doing that same idea. I'm just trying to think how he would use it, really. And I'm short of that, I'm blanking on any other idea for that. He'd also have to be way more clever because, like Chisaki said in this episode, his movements are way too straightforward and predictable. He needs to be more clever. And that's even what Night Eye said, actually, during his training, when he was trying to see whether or not he would accept him. Everything was straightforward and predictable. It's why Chisaki dodges that axe kick. So he's going to have to try to pull something. And unless, Mirio's got nothing. He's out of it. Night Eye is not in a good situation, so unless he is able to somehow cause a distraction while it's going on, maybe he tosses one of those, lead weights or whatever that he's got, right? To cause, a slight distraction for Chisaki before Midoriya goes in for a kill. I mean, we also have all the other heroes that dropped in, too. That's right. They dropped in right at the end. So Chisaki's dealing with multiple people now. I completely forgot about that fact.
So the mid-season finale should be a huge battle between everybody against Overhaul.
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody's dropped in now, so the question is, how does he get away? He only has 5 shots, or 4 shots now. 4 shots of that bullet left, and he has that in his hand. He has those bullets on his person now. He doesn't have the gun. So short of him, just quick jabbing somebody with it, which I'm not even sure if that would work, because I think the tranquilizer would require the...
The needle?
No. The force from the gunshot to inject the serum.
Oh, okay.
I don't think just jabbing them with it would work, because it's not a needle, or a hypodermic needle where you have a plunger to push in. It needs the force from the gun to inject, which means he'd have to find the gun, and it'd be really surprising if it's not destroyed, considering all the shit he's done to that arena at this point.
he could always remake the gun.
That's true. That's true. He could completely remake the gun. Although, well, now I'm curious, actually. Does it work the same way Crazy Diamond does, where it doesn't matter where the thing is, so long as you want one piece, it'll all reassemble to that one piece? Or is it like, in Overhaul's case, does he need all of the pieces there to make it work? Or, like, does he have to somehow make, I guess, the part that's missing? I'm not too sure. It's not well enough defined to say. Because it seems like, because from every time we see him use that ability, he's either using it on the ground, or he's used it now to fuse another body with himself. But all of the pieces he's used have literally been at his fingertips. There's never been multiple pieces scattered around or anything.
But his ability more or less atomizes the thing. So if something is atomized, can he bring it all together again?
Well, then there's the other question. Could he just make a gun out of the ground? Like, could he break the ground apart and reconstruct it into a gun?
Oh, that might not be good.
Because, I mean, you're talking atomizing, right? What is, like, iron or steel aside from just refined earth? If you don't want to get too crazy into the process of, like, refinement and how steel and iron is made, he could technically just pull the iron ore out of the ground, assuming, he's close enough to it, I guess. Like, it's within range of his quirk, and just assemble a gun piece out of it. Or, I guess if he just uses regular earth, you could argue that, like, it might be good for one shot and that's it.
Oh.
Because it's not metal, it's not meant to hold up, it's just compacted earth. Because, like, his ability is very malleable for what you could want it to do. He destroys and reconstructs.
You're right. Like, what is his upper limit of reconstruction?
Yeah, like, what are the limits? I wouldn't be surprised if he could make a model gun out of the ground. Whether or not it's functional is what I'm curious about. Because he's obviously able to reshape it the way he does with the spikes. I would assume it also comes down to his knowledge of whatever he's making in in general, too. I don't think he'd be able to create a gun if he didn't know what the mechanisms inside worked or looked like.
Well, then again, those arms that he gave himself were not human-sized arms. They were like
Yeah, I would
massively
assume
gigantic.
I would assume that's more like his own imagination in that regard, at least. Like, he's just imagining scary arms, I would assume. And it's like, yeah, make something like that. But he knows how, like, the muscles work, right? Like, he's also got the base in front of him with a person. He just takes that and expands upon it as he thinks or does, right? Like, in the case of the gun, I wouldn't be surprised. He's a Yakuza member. He's used them before. He's probably cleaned them. He probably knows exactly how they work and what's, like, the mechanisms inside. Like, to make one would not shock me that he could do it. It's just whether or not it's stable enough to hold up if it's made out of the ground, or if he can actually, do what we said earlier and reassemble it from one piece, or if he needs the whole thing. Now, that also said, I would have kind of expected the bullets to shatter, but I mean, that's way more important to him. So, at the very minimum, that's something he would have kept an eye on. I don't know about the gun being, kept an eye on. Also, the last guy to have it was the Truth dude who went and fired. I didn't see the gun come with him when he threw the body over to himself. Like, they never showed that. So I have to assume that the gun is either broken or way back wherever the hell he was laying before. Which, for all we know, is shattered at this point,
So do you think Overhaul will escape? Or do you think he will be brought in at the end?
See, this is the interesting bit, because now we're looking at, like, we have to consider what Night Eye saw. And the last thing Night Eye saw was that blood splash of Midoriya getting hit. That's either when his quirk ran out or when he lost consciousness. One of the two. He doesn't know how it ends because he passed out, or at least we don't know how it ends because it didn't show us.
Because I don't think Overhaul is going to die.
I don't think he's escaping, though, is the other thing. At least he's not... Let me rephrase that. I don't think he's escaping with that drug.
So the drug storyline will be over.
Maybe, maybe not. Like I was saying before, he has enough knowledge at this point. There's a chance he could synthetically recreate it. Like it probably won't be as powerful as the original, but it would be enough to like maybe stop a quirk for a full day or something.
Oh.
It won't be a permanent destruction. I honestly like, because if that shit gets out and goes around, the fuck is going to actually? Let me rephrase what I think is going to happen.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think Chisaki might get away. At this point, I don't think that's the bigger problem anymore. I think Toga and Twice are going to get their hands on that drug and bring it back to
Shigaraki?
bring it back to Shigaraki.
Oh no.
And I think, if I was to guess correctly, if Chisaki does get away, Shigaraki's going to hold the drug over him and say like, "Oh, looky what I found. You work for me now." I think, if I'm correct, and Toga and Twice get their hands on that drug, that it's going to mean Shigaraki forces Overhaul to work for him, assuming Overhaul escapes.
Ooh. Now there is a thought.
The question then becomes, can the League start recreating those bullets? Because I highly doubt they're going to spread that everywhere the way that Overhaul was going to. They're going to keep that for themselves.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out next week in episode 13 to see how this all wraps up.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh my god, I can't wait for next week.
I'm real curious if I called this ending.
You know what? If you did, I will applaud you.
If I did, you need to make the subtitle of the next one. Brandon was right.
Yes.
And they have to guess which one.
Well, anybody listening to this one will know. Oh my god. My Hero Academia keeps getting better and better.
That hype level just keeps going up. Like, I saw the preview and I was like, oh my god, yes. Yes, I want it now. I need to know. See, it's that shit that makes me really love watching it week to week like this, rather than just spamming through the manga. Like, it's that Saturday morning cartoon feel. That suspense, waiting for the next week. It's the one thing I get disappointed by when it's like Netflix gives you the whole thing and you get to binge it. You miss out on that like hype and suspense waiting for the next week.
So join us next week for season 4, episode 13. I guess that's it.
Uh,
Bye.